I'm David Harris. Welcome to my channel. I'm making some format changes. For those of you that have been following my channel, you're used to 2 short channeled messages and light language activations a week. I'm going to be switching to doing one main message a week on camera that'll be a little bit longer. And then I'll also have some special posts. Occasionally, I will do live channeled events that I'll post recordings of, and I do one-on-one live readings for specific individuals as YouTube lives 1 or 2 times a month. And I have a message for you, so I am going to channel for you. And this is a channeled message in light language activation. If you found this message, you were meant to. Shia, shia makan iba kata kakak ayah basya, ya makan kakak ayah maka, ya makan kakak shia makan iba kata kakak ayah, ya makan kakak shia makan ya makan kakak ayah. Woya shia kata kakak shia kata kakak ayah, kakak ayah. What does relief feel like when it actually comes? When you've finally integrated the biggest shift of your life, what does it feel like afterwards? And we specifically want to speak about integration because you've all been on a healing process, a healing journey, and you're in various different stages of it. But for all of you here that are listening to this message, you're at the end of a major cycle. Something is completing for you that you've been working out for a very long time. For some of you, it's been a particularly intense healing and entrainment process to activate dormant aspects of you and come more fully into your true nature. For others of you, it has been happening in more subtle ways, but you feel that the tides are turning. You feel that things are closing in your life, that you're reaching certain exit points, that you're graduating from certain vibrations, that you are leaving certain situations and roles that may feel no longer aligned or may feel too small for you at this stage of your life. And you are shifting into something bigger and more expansive that is a more authentic expression of the true you. For many of you here, you'll have a culminating moment, a day, a week, or a period in which you feel a bunch of things shift, and more importantly, you feel something internal change within you. You feel a burden come off of your shoulders, and you feel that you have reached a higher level within yourself. You may feel that the lights are coming on. Yeah. And you may have a big moment of release and activation. You may have already had that moment. And then what happens next? It's a huge identity shift. It's a total change for your nervous system. And while you may feel very grateful for this shift, that's something much needed, something you've sought after for a long time, for most of you here, it's been something that you actively desired and took action to create. But in the moment that it arrives, it feels great. And then in the next moment, perhaps the next day or couple of days, or even next couple of hours, it can feel like a little bit of a letdown. Like, what's next? And what is happening if you feel that? If you feel that sense of a down or a feeling of disappointment, but that feeling of disappointment doesn't have a big punch to it. It doesn't have the weight behind it. It doesn't have that heaviness behind it that you were used to. It is your nervous system catching up to what you have just become. For the end of this cycle and shifting into the new is a total identity change for many different aspects of your energy field, many different aspects of self. It is a total identity change for the human mind. That part may seem somewhat obvious or at least clear to most of you here, but the human mind part is just one small part of the experience. The other thing that's happening is your nervous system has been geared up for some kind of a battle for years and years and months, and particularly in recent weeks and months of your life as you have been transitioning, as you have been growing, as you have been dealing with your core wounds, as you have been working through some of the toughest traumas that you've experienced, whether in this life or another life, and as you have been clearing and working through ancestral traumas and clearing all that energy from your energy field, all of a sudden this rubber band that's been pulled up tight and taut like this is released, and there's no tension anymore, or at least a lot less tension. And when you experience that sudden release of tension, combined with your nervous system finally releasing the program of constantly having to battle or tense up to go against the weight of those trauma energies that have been releasing from you, there is a point where your nervous system takes a little bit of a dip and a temporary dive downward as it is recalibrating, because it is a bit confused about what to do in that moment. And this period can last a short period of time usually. Usually these are symptoms of something deeper. It's a symptom that what is actually happening underneath at the core is that you are recalibrating to a new center. You're recalibrating to a center. You're recalibrating to a center that is based around the emotions of freedom instead of the emotions of fear, stress, anger, grief, sadness, etc. And all the while, as you've been in this battle or campaign to heal and embody more of your true self and to activate your innate gifts, to bring online your psychic gifts, to get in touch with your intuitive abilities in a more expanded way, your emotional center has been geared towards processing pain. On some level, processing pain. And your nervous system and the systems in your body have become so accustomed to the chemical processes that are triggered when you are dealing with dense emotions, that once you snap out of that, once you actually have that moment of release, then you might be experiencing a chemical dip, a chemical process actually happening in the body of your body recalibrating to suddenly a lot less stress hormones happening in your body, a lot less of negative emotions happening in the body, and all emotions trigger a chemical process that happens in many different systems of the body at one time. For when you feel intense emotions, your entire endocrine system gets involved. And so you are going through a bit of chemical withdrawal from negative emotions. You wanted to move past these negative emotions. You wanted that sense of true freedom, and you've actually created that release to make that possible. And so the next step is integrating that release. And part of integrating that release is just a practical biological process that happens in the body. Your body and your nervous system need a moment to catch up. It might be a few days. It might be a week. During this period of adjustment, one primary thing that's occurring is your body and your nervous system and the glands within your body and your endocrine system are getting used to the absence of those stress chemicals, or at least a lot less of those stress chemicals than you've been experiencing habitually for a long time. And as this shift occurs, your body adjusts to replace that with more positive chemicals, with love hormones and love chemicals, specifically oxytocin, which is chemicals that are released in the brain that are sometimes known as the love chemicals in the brain. Oxytocin are the chemicals that are released when an infant, newborn, is bonding with its mother. Oxytocin are the chemicals that are released in the brain and in the nervous system when you experience the feeling of safety and love. This happens in close, intimate relationships with sexual partners. This happens in family relationships where you feel safe, seen, and heard. This can happen in close friendships. Your nervous system, the human part of you, needs a little bit of time to adjust to a different set of hormones that will naturally occur within your body once you are free from your biggest burdens. An analogy that we might give is, say that you are a professional runner and you have been running a marathon. And you've been training to run that marathon for months, even years, and you have just won the biggest race of your life. In that moment, when you just won that big race, there's all this excitement. You feel so free. You have this big release in your body, in your nervous system, and emotionally. And it's a great day. You might be tired because you just ran that long race, but you're also celebrating. You have the joy of those around you that are cheering you on. You're having some kind of celebration dinner, some kind of ceremony to award you, to recognize your progress, to recognize your achievement. And then the next day, You're tired and you have an emotional dip potentially because your body is depleted. Your body is depleted by the weight of the fight, the weight of that campaign against something, and also that campaign for something. That campaign to fight for your personal victory. And in this moment right now, and we're speaking specifically to all of you watching this, you are embodying some of the biggest changes that you've ever made. And you're in a place right now where your nervous system is very elastic. You're carrying more light through your nervous system than you've ever been able to before. You are vibrating at a much higher frequency. And you're suddenly dealing with the absence or loss of a chemical process, a biological process of fighting that you have become so used to that your system has become on some level a little bit addicted to it. That when you're suddenly not feeling that, it's a little bit of withdrawal. Also, your chakra system has just upgraded. You're leaving things behind. Your heart chakra has expanded tremendously. And your root chakra that grounds is struggling to keep up in this moment temporarily. There's nothing you need to do to fix it. It's going to happen automatically on its own. But you have just expanded so dramatically that your grounding system needs a moment of adjustment. And that grounding system is your root chakra. So for the next moment or so, we're going to bring forward some light language that is about balancing your nervous system. It is about helping your nervous system to adjust to the positive chemical processes that are happening in you more naturally now, to actually help your body identify that what's happening right now is not a loss, but a liberation. And also in this light language and a little bit of toning that's going to be coming through is an opening and expansion and recalibration of your root chakra to help you ground your higher frequency more easily, which will help balance out everything. Oh, ai, 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 oh, ai, oh, ai, Shibakatakapakatakaya shiakata yabakatakakashpatakakaya gayapaka oyapaka oyapakakakashya katakaya oyakashibakatakaka shibakatakapakatakaka shibakataka yakatakaka yapakatakashpatakakashpatakakaya apakatakaya oyapakataka shibakatakapakatakakaya shibakatakaka Shia, bunyi mga nakakakasya. Waya, pakasya, pakataka. Waya, paka. Ya, pakasya, pakataka. Pakataka, pakataka, pakataka. We thank you for indulging us in that light language activation and the toning. And the question that you may have is, okay, this is all fine and well, but what's next? When will the big changes happen? When will my physical life rearrange around my new frequency? I have done all this hard work. I have been working on the true work, the inner work. I have been working on my inner foundation. And I have been activating, I have been releasing, I have been getting to that point where I can really expand into my true authentic self and then shift my reality to receive my heart's desires, to receive that which I feel I'm here to do, to have my life path shift, to have the big breakthroughs. Well, we can assure you that is coming because it is inevitable. When you engage in that kind of transformation, it is inevitable that reality will shift around you. It is really like the law of physics. This is how energy works. What can you do in the here and now to help yourself embody your new frequency more easily so that you can feel that sense of freedom, so you can actually feel that you have transcended, feel it inside your gut, feel it in your heart, feel it in your mind, feel your whole body relax and expand. For about half of you that are listening to this message right now, you're still going through a little bit of release. This is residual stuff. This isn't the deep, heavy processing anymore. This is residual stuff. And this is stuff that can be cleared out very, very quickly. You can think of it like this. You can think of it like this. You have just cleared out a pipe that had a lot of debris in it, that had a lot of buildup inside that pipe, and you've cleared all that stuff out, but you're still in that process where you're flushing that old stuff down the line. There's a little bit of stuff that's just being cleared out of the pipes, and all that needs to happen is for that water to keep flowing for a while, and it'll just do its job, because what's left is loose debris. It's loose debris that's already been detached from your nervous system. It's stuff that's been healed. It's just the after effects. You can think of it like as if these are small aftershocks after the earthquake has already happened. These are little rumblings, and these little rumblings are signs of things settling into a new configuration, of things settling into a new type of balance. We really recommend a practice of appreciating yourself, of appreciating just how far you've come and what you have to look forward to. This is not about waiting. We're talking about a process that will be done in a matter of days, not weeks, not months, not a year down the road, just something being done in a matter of days. You have, in a sense, just emerged out of the clouds after a long, protracted fight for yourself, and you're just a little bit worn out temporarily. If we want to describe what we're suggesting that you do in one word, that word is celebrate. Celebrate. Celebrate you. If you want to integrate these big changes that you've been making that have come to a head all of a sudden, maybe not in your external life yet, but you can feel it. You can feel it within yourself. You can just feel it and know it in ways that you can't explain to others, that you know to be true, that you have changed. You have just released and left behind some big burdens. You have just transitioned out of old patterns. You have just cleared something massive. What does that athlete do when he's just won the national championship? He's won the championship in some way, and that particular season has come to an end. He doesn't immediately go right back to training for the next season. He gives himself a break, and he celebrates. He celebrates what he's just done. And he doesn't celebrate alone. Find some way to celebrate yourself right now. It can be something small, it could be something big. But the important thing is, however you choose to celebrate, make it something that makes you feel special. It may be getting yourself a gift. It may be allowing yourself to have a break. It may be allowing yourself to have an experience. What may temporarily feel like a letdown is your body recalibrating and letting go of a big burden, because you have been carrying something that has been exhausting you on some level. Maybe it's physically exhausting, maybe it's mentally exhausting, maybe it's emotionally exhausting. And the absence of that weight finally gives your system, your body, your physical body, permission to just go, ah. It gives your body permission to wind down. And remember that this process is not linear. The wiring of your mind literally needs a chance to catch up, because your brain has been running programs. It's been running programs that are built on some level on survival. and old narratives that might revolve around stress, pain, or fear. And these old narratives are retiring. That's part of the process that is naturally occurring. You don't have to make it happen. You've already created that. Just don't fight it. Because a whole new identity is forming, because you have just collapsed an identity. You've collapsed an identity. You've collapsed the identity of a wounded, in some way oppressed you. You've collapsed that identity. And you're just beginning to take your new identity out of the garage for the first time and take it for a test drive. And even though it's exactly what you've been wanting, it's exactly what you're designed for, just the fact that the moment has finally arrived is a shock. So don't ask yourself to embrace it all at once. Give yourself permission to have a day off. You can take the new you out for a test drive in another moment. But for right now, congratulate yourself, take a rest, and celebrate. This will allow your nervous system, your chakra system, and your emotional body to adjust to the fact that it's no longer in fight mode. It's okay to not know what it will feel like to be at your best again. Because you don't need to do any more training for that. You've already been preparing. And we'd like to congratulate all of you, not only for what you're doing for yourselves, but for how this helps the planet evolve. You truly don't realize how much of a positive impact you doing your own healing work has on the entire population on the planet, not just of humans, but every living thing. It makes the rivers, forests, oceans, and trees healthier just by you, as one person, as an individual, engaging in the process of facing your core wounds and your hurts and learning what unconditional love feels like, of embracing the true you. That has an exponential ripple effect throughout all of reality. And the good news is that all gets reflected right back to you again. So allow yourself to just sit back, allow yourself to be exactly where you are, and to fully receive. There are a lot of embedded messages in the light language throughout this that are very specific individually to you. The message that you receive through that light language is just for you, and it may be very different than what the next person receives who watches the same message. In this last part, this light language will help to balance out your nervous system and help your nervous system naturally recalibrate to your new baseline. This also includes a crown activation.